What if I told you that becoming wealthy has less to do with intelligence than you think? What if the most important financial decisions of your life have nothing to do with stocks, interest rates, or markets, but with you? Most people believe that money is a math problem, that if they just learn the right formulas, pick the right stocks, or follow the right experts, wealth will be inevitable. But history tells a very different story. Some of the smartest people in the world have lost enormous fortunes. At the same time, ordinary people with average incomes have built extraordinary wealth. Why? In The Psychology of Money, Morgan Housel explores this very question, and the answer is surprising. Money is not primarily about knowledge. Money is about behavior. We like to believe that we are rational, that we make logical decisions. But when markets crash, fear takes over, and headlines scream about crisis, logic quickly disappears. When everyone around us seems to be getting rich from the latest trend, patience is replaced by greed. That is why investing is difficult, not because the market is complicated, but because people are. One of the book's most powerful ideas is that everyone is playing a different game. Think about that for a moment. A 20-year-old invests with a completely different time horizon than a 60-year-old. A billionaire has different goals than someone saving their first $1,000. Yet we constantly compare ourselves to others. And that is where many people make their biggest mistake. They follow someone else's strategy without understanding someone else's goals. History is filled with people who had everything and lost everything. Not because they lacked talent, but because they never knew when enough was enough. Housel shares stories of investors who continued taking bigger and bigger risks long after they had achieved more wealth than they could ever spend. They risked what they had for what they didn't need, and they lost. The lesson is simple. The hardest financial skill is not making money. It's knowing when you have enough. The book also argues that true wealth is often invisible. When we think of rich people, we imagine luxury cars, enormous homes, and expensive watches. But real wealth is often what you don't see. It's the money that hasn't been spent. It's the freedom to make choices, the freedom to say no, the freedom to control your own time. And perhaps this is the most important idea in the entire book. Compounding is not just about money, it is about time. Small actions, repeated consistently, over long periods. The greatest financial outcomes rarely come from one brilliant decision. They come from hundreds of good decisions, made again and again, year after year. So, what is the secret to financial success? According to this book, the answer is surprisingly simple. Be patient. Avoid catastrophic mistakes. Save more than you think you need. Let time work in your favor. And understand that investing is not a test of how smart you are. It is a test of how you behave when your emotions try to take control. Because in the end, money is not just numbers on a screen. It is a mirror. And what it reflects most clearly is human nature.